Good evening. D Gage says hello, hello, hello. Sorry for being a little late. How are you guys doing? Yeah, that's about right. No, my son just shat on my bed. My wife changed him on the bed because he didn't want to get up, and he just shat all over. Projectile shat on my bed. So that's why I'm a couple minutes late. It is what it is. The pleasure of fatherhood or parenthood generally. Hey Don, first congrats on the birth of your son. Thanks, man. And can you check out Sui? I don't know. I might forget. I probably will, but I might talk about it. Congrats. Thank you guys. I am appropriate amounts of tired. So we'll see how it goes. If I say stupid shit today, unlike other days, I have a good excuse. But yeah, before we start the show, big shout out to Woo for sponsoring it. Really appreciate their support. Their links are in the description below. Go check them out if you want to. If not, also fine. Oh, you guys are so nice. Congrats, Father Duck. My first girl was born last week. She's amazing. Congrats to you, man. So where do we start? It's been good. I mean, since the last stream, nothing's really changed, right? Like we streamed a week ago, I think, when we were trading. Oh no, we did here. When we're trading at 93, 94k, we're still trading at 94k, which is quite nice. Like this is good price action. But yeah, we'll start with the high time frame. So high time frame, we're still at the exact same resistance we were last week. But the longer we hang around here, the better. I generally don't trust resistances that get retested immediately and then get retested again. So like cluster resistance here, retested once, and then usually that should be enough. It wasn't, went back up. So far, no notable rejection. So that's all good. This is nice. And the weekly time frame, also, we talked about this last week. I was like, I really want to see the weekly close above 90k, and it really shouldn't go below 88. And so far so good, right? We did close at the sort of range low if you use the candle bodies, but so far we haven't really had a rejection yet, right? We've just traded in it, closed in it, and now this week haven't really moved. And that in spite of the S&P having a little bit of volatility. So like the high time frames monthly is good in my opinion. Like this is nice, getting nicer. It's closing in 3-4 hours, so that's gonna be a close at resistance. But like I said, an immediate retest, these I don't trust. Like if I wanted to take it as a bearish signal, this would be too weak for me. And the overarching trend on the monthly is obviously up, right? Every single dip's been bought up. So that's all in all quite good. This is leaning bullish in my opinion, even though it is closing at resistance. So that's the one thing that makes it a little bit less attractive, but still good. The weekly time frame, in my opinion, as long as we hold 90k, is also leaning bullish. That said, this is also at resistance, same as we had it last week, basically. This is where the bears are trying to make their final stand, but in my opinion, they really should have done it at 90k. The fact that we're trading at 95 or 94 something is a good sign. Isn't declining volume into resistance bearish? I don't care about volume, just about price action. I don't know why people are so bearish. Like, like I see a lot of people being hyper bearish and beyond. Like I mean, obviously the macro situation is not the best, but if you ignore that, and I mean technically speaking, if you say crypto is like gold, gold's been a perfect macro situation for gold. So you can make a good case for crypto as well. I'm like, I don't know why people are looking for so many reasons to be super bearish. Now, obviously, you can be like bearish just generally, but like super bearish, where like, oh yeah, this is the top and everything's gonna die, only makes sense if you expect like a full Armageddon on the macro stage, which, to be fair, more likely than it's been in the last I don't know, like 20 years. But yeah, I mean technically Bitcoin was made for this, so we'll see. But I'm cautiously optimistic on the monthly and on the weekly, even though both of them are at resistance. And I mean, we can talk about it next week if I'm being if I am being an idiot right now, or if I was from the viewpoint of next week. But yeah, I still like it. Any close above 90k is nice. Can remove this. It's not that relevant anymore. You start losing 90k, obviously it starts looking worse, because then you technically just have the bearish retest disbelief done. Maybe. I'm crypto bullish, but Trump bearish. Fair. I mean, I think the whole Trump fiasco is bearish America, but I mean, at some point, hopefully he's gonna see that he is making dumb choices, and then some of this can be reversed. I'm also not in the camp that the whole like, okay, if he's gonna fold on tariffs, everything is gonna go back to normal. I think that's kind of that ship has sailed, but at least some form of normalcy. But yeah, anyway, weekly time frame, nice, above the resistance we're right now trading in. It starts looking really, really good. And that's literally just a couple $100 away, and we have like 4 days left for the weekly close. So for me to really want to be bearish, or like at least even look for reasons to be bearish, we would have to lose 90k at this point. And then we can start talking about it. But right now, I don't really see a good reason. Other than, okay, we're trading at resistance, but it's a weak resistance, the same as the monthly. It's not the best. I think the bears should have made their stand at 90k. That would have been an appropriate retest without going all the way. Whenever you get these kind of like clean retests, like you have a range and then you break down and you retest it, like more often than not, it does something like this. The truly bearish ranges, they play out like this. You have the breakdown, and then you have consolidation, and then you just fuck off. Like that's the bearish one. It's very different from the bullish, or like from this bullish leaning one, in my opinion. This one, I'm down to short the breakdown. You have like an easy invalidation. This one, you short this, I think like 2 out of 3 times you lose a bunch of money, and quickly too. So we'll see how that plays out, but overall, like these immediate bearish, bullish retests, doesn't really matter which side you're on. Don't give me much confidence that you're gonna get a bearish, like in this case, a bearish move, or the other way around, a bullish move, right? Same for, you get this, you get a breakout, and then you immediately fuck off, like usually ends like this, and then it just goes down. Whereas on the other side, obviously, when you get the breakout and you've consolidated somewhere here away from support, that's usually a sign that buyers are stepping in. And this is just usually a sign that you just get a bunch of people just stopped out. And now that they're stopped out, there's no bid. You fall back down. You bounce a little because people are buying the support, but it doesn't hold up and just dies. Whereas in this case, you get the squeeze, and you can see that people are rushing into positions to then they don't even want to wait for the retest. It's much more bullish to me. So yeah, not all is bad in crypto land right now, even with the monthly and the weekly at resistance. On the daily time frame, we are not at resistance. The daily time frame is trying to front run the other two. We broke through resistance quite decisively so, and we're doing what I love and what we just talked about, right? So you get a resistance break and you're consolidating above the resistance. I would have been much more inclined to believe the weekly and the monthly in their bearishness if we immediately went back down. Now, obviously, it can still happen, right? We can still go towards 90K. But I think at that point, the risk of breakdown is much higher than it is right here. So we have a little bit of a, like this is just a good chart. Now, whether it plays out or not, it's hard to say. Like I said, the macro situation is really hard to judge. I would actually generally lean more bearish on that also, but crypto doesn't really have to follow. 1 and 2 macros, just generally like the S&P and whatever, it's just generally always been going up. So maybe despite all odds, it continues to do so. I don't know. I just know charts, and this one is not a bad one. So just the only one that has broken resistance so far, and like this, just straight up a good chart, right? We can put a line chart on and then ignore this spike, right? And it's pretty clear that we had like a range here. Let me do it on a clean chart. It's pretty clear that we had a range here. Jesus, sorry. We had a range and we're kind of back in it. If I could actually just draw a straight line, I'll just use this. So like this is the support and we reclaimed this old range. A little bit easier to see on the line chart, doesn't really matter. Anyway, that's good. I hope it actually plays out in a bullish way, but so far so good. No support here on all of those wicks. Got broken through. This was a little bit of a bullshit Trump announcement, bearish retest, and came back up, wiped out all of that, and is now like on the daily time frame we're struggling with this, which is the breakdown level, right? But just a little bit more, like one more push, and we're quite deep into recovery mode. But Mood Trumpler is going to end the world. Nah, I mean, unless he does any war shenanigans, he's not going to end the world. I think, if anything, it's gonna end the supremacy of the US, which is not a bad thing for the rest of the world, as long as it doesn't lead to too much uncertainty and kind of like a power vacuum. But I think like basically the rest of the world shouldn't be too upset. It's just the US throwing a bunch of power away, and it's up for grabs now for other people. Just have to hope that the right people get to it, not the wrong people. So I mean, if I was an American, I'd be upset much more than I am. It's just, yeah, global security has gone down quite dramatically, which is the one thing that I don't appreciate. Maybe I missed it in one of the episodes, but what happened to Cred? Did he bail? I mean, he's just busy in real life right now. Just like said, fuck crypto. I want to spend some time in real life, and just ghosted everyone, which is fair enough. He's gonna be back. He told me. You never know. But as far as I am aware, he's gonna be back. Hey Don, me and my fellow Europoor friends are watching live for the first time. Huge congrats on the new little one, and thanks for showing up today. Much love. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, today kind of worked out. I don't know if next week's gonna work out, depending on how busy it gets. Do you think 90K before 100K? It's a toying cost right now. I like 100K better than 90K. If it goes to 90K, that I actually don't really like it as a rebid level. It could work and it would still be bullish technically, right? You can reclaim a range and do this. Happens quite a bit. So wouldn't be the end of the world, but I prefer it if it consolidates above it. So we'll see how that goes. I prefer 100k over 90, just because it's a more bullish structure. But technically speaking, could go either way. To be entirely fair, I mean, if you want to be super objective about everything, we are at resistance on the monthly, on the weekly, and that could lead to a dip on the daily. And it would still not be too bearish if it does hold 90k. So maybe. I just don't personally like it too much. So that's Bitcoin. ETH had a little bit of a rally, but nothing grand. Still hasn't changed anything. Needs to come back above 2k, and then we can start talking. XRP is still doing quite well. I mean, the title of the show was something like, big reclaims everywhere. And this is what I'm talking about. Like, there was a breakdown here on XRP. It's a reclaim. There was a breakdown on Bitcoin. This is a reclaim. On ETH, we haven't really gotten there yet. I would say above 2k, that's a big reclaim. But a lot of these charts, same with Solana, we broke below 125, that important level that kept holding, that I was warning about. At some point, I was like, at some point it's gonna break. It did, it wiped out, but it reclaimed. You had, like, WIF had some good price action, still wouldn't call that a reclaim. Popcat was really nice. That's a little bit of a reclaim, right? So I would say like anything above 0.28 is a reclaim. Like, that's much better now than it used to be. Someone asked about Fartcoin. This one that we shilled on the show, or like I talked about it. I was like, this is one of the better ones to buy, and that was at 0 point somewhere here when we broke out. It's 3x since then. Really good, really nice reclaim, right? Still think, I mean, this is really bullish, in my opinion. If the crypto markets hold up, this is really nice. Obviously, like, you don't necessarily want to be buying into like a 6x from the bottom, right? Which is kind of crazy with how the crypto market's been. 6x on a bigger coin, I think a lot of people kind of lost faith, but it's still possible, apparently. How would you find financial freedom if you had to start over? I think if that's the goal from the get-go, you're probably gonna fail, no? Like, I was like, I can make some money with this. Let me just see how it goes. And had contingency plans and everything. And then just went with it. And it turned out to work quite well. But if I went at it and I was like, I have to make generational wealth, and then I would have just probably gambled everything away. Shouldn't necessarily be the plan. I think you can be like, hey, this is a good trading environment. Let's see what I can do, instead of being like, oh, I need to be rich and this is how I'm gonna do it. It's the influencer way, if anything. It's gonna make you sell shitters and pump fun. Which, I mean, a bunch of people that did that made a lot of money. So maybe that's the way to go. But for me personally, like, I'd rather die. Don, how does it feel to be a father of two? Congrats again, by the way. I mean, right now I'm just tired, but no, it's really nice. Like, he is an angel during the day and a demon during the night. But yeah, me generally, personally, and I mean, a lot of parents and a lot of people will disagree, but for me, the older they get, the nicer it is. Like, there's limited amounts of things that you can do with a baby, you know, like, and I have no problem like cuddling the baby, whatever. But like, for me, it's much more fun to play with my daughter now than it was when she was like a couple of months old. And the older they get, the nicer it is. So like, I'm excited for when they're gonna be older. So there's more things to do. But no, it's nice. Thoughts on Bitcoin dominance? I remember your call about no new highs above 65, getting close to invalidation right now. Yeah, that was probably a little bit early. I was always, I mean, did I say 65? I probably said like 64, and we're kind of trading there. I don't remember. If I said 65, I mean, maybe I get by, and now we get old season and I look like a genius. But generally it seems to have been a little bit early. I still think there's going to be a little bit, I generally think it's going to be like, not necessarily from here, maybe it goes a little bit higher, but generally the price action on this thing, which just basically means the price action on other altcoins, I think is probably going to be something like this. And then probably forever, no, not that way, probably forever down. Reason why down is because this entire thing is engineered to go down. It's actually crazy that it goes up, right? Like the stable coins that are included in this, all that kind of shit. I think stable coins are going to be really big. I'd expect them to take a large percentage of the market, and other things. So, but generally I think it would make a lot of sense to kind of top out on this, but not necessarily because the altcoins have to go up, but because this is a shit metric to look at any kind of altcoin strength. But yeah, ETH, XRP we talked about, it's a reclaim, it's nice. We'll see how that continues to play out. I tweeted about it at like $2, like whatever, 4 cents, went up a little. It hasn't really moved, right? I generally think this is the range. We had a little bit of a false breakdown. We front ran, depending on how you draw the support, but I think we front ran it a little bit in the middle / lower end still of it, but it's not a bad chart. It's the same kind of deal where you could draw like a support here, and then you'd be like, okay, this needs to retest and then go. In my opinion, the fact that it didn't retest is better than if it had. And technically, this is just flagging now. So you have like a big, large up move. Maybe we can see it better on another time frame. I mean, the monthly probably works, but I want to make it even more clear. I know how the monthly looks, so it's not quite what I want. Yeah, that kind of works. Like you have a big move up and you have you've had no movement. It's just sideways. And that's quite impressive and quite good. Generally think if the crypto market, and I mean, this obviously doesn't make me happy. It would make me happy because I would make money, but I would prefer if the market wasn't the way it is. But I think if the crypto market keeps going up, XRP is going to be one of the better positioned altcoins for it. So yeah, still like that. Same with XRP BTC, like that's a decent chart. Yeah, I mean, I called bottom on this when it hit this. I was really, really good down here, and my target was always up here, right? And there's still a little bit on the relative side to go. I think that's still possible as long as the crypto market performs well. Tether may be the goats. Paolo gonna be one of the richest in the world next 10-20 years. Yeah, unless something big changes, I think stablecoins are just gonna take over. Well, so yeah, XRP good. Litecoin still holding the triangle, which is nice, but could have done a little bit more. But so far, at least it's holding the triangle. It's gonna close above it too. Other than that, I mean, we talked about Fartcoin, Solana. We talked about it's actually quite a decent chart. Also, like you zoom out a little bit more, and you see how basically it went up infinite. It pulled back, it went back to the high and is now consolidating around it. If you want to see how like a chart that looks like that, like gold here, where you had a high, you pulled back, you came back up, you consolidated around the high, and then you just sent it. So like these charts are not terrible. They could obviously play out bearish. You could be like, hey, this was an SFP at the top, and this was a range, and like this was a sign of weakness, and it's gonna fall back below the range here, and then fair enough. At that point, maybe it is actually just the top, but generally that's not the worst chart in the world. So yeah. Does XRP outperform ETH long term? Depends on how long term. In the next year, I think so, yes. In the next 10 years, I very much doubt it. I think ETH would probably do better, but I could be wrong on that. Will ETH ever go above 3K? Or was that overpriced for what ETH is as an asset? I like it. I like it. I like the chances of ETH. I think people are underestimating ETH just because it's had bad price action. The same way people were shit talking Solana when it had bad price action, not because the coin was bad, just because of bad price action. Like people were just joking about Solana all the time when it was trading like below 2 digits, and then went from nothing basically to 250. I think ETH is in a somewhat similar situation. But obviously Solana is taking a little bit of a bit away from ETH. So we'll see. I could be wrong. If I had to pick like an asset in crypto for the long term that isn't Bitcoin, I would pick ETH, just straight up. And I think people are discounting it just because it's been performing poorly, but it's been performing really well. Generally, like, I mean, when you look at the price history of ETH, it's still trading multiples above where it traded against Bitcoin in 2015. It's still trading multiples above where it was trading in 17. It did retrace the 2020 move, which is quite a big deal, but I generally think people are just like, oh yeah, look at that. And then they ignore all the left side and they're like, oh yeah, ETH just shit. But when you compare like a lot of other altcoins that have been around for a while to this, you will see that other altcoins, no matter when they launched, look like this on the ETH BTC chart, whereas ETH looks like this basically. And then you have this. This is how ETH looks right now. It's not the worst. It's obviously not great, but this is not the worst. If I had to pick one other asset over, like, if I had to pick one asset other than Bitcoin in crypto for the long term, it'd still be ETH for me. Is Tesla just a meme stock now? Giant miss on earnings, then price pumps, acts like a shitcoin now. The reason why this, why it plays out like this is because you have a bunch of people just leveraging. You had a bunch of people on Reddit, on other social media platforms, basically being like, Tesla is dead, and then they just leveraged up a bunch, and it actually worked for quite a while. And then you get like negative news, but you have like everyone that is short-term trading is already on the bearish side of the train, and then you get like, you start to squeeze a little bit, and it squeezes properly. It's not too surprising to me. People are always shocked when they see like, oh, negative news and price went up. It's like, yeah, when you have the entire market knowing that there's bad news coming out and everyone is betting on that bad news, kind of like making them rich. I mean, of course, you can easily squeeze a bunch. And that's what Tesla did. It's not really too surprising. Now, if it reverses course and actually makes new high, I'll be shocked. But like, look, this is the crazy squeeze that everyone talked about, where it's like, oh yeah, it went from 230 to 280. It's down from 500. I don't know, man. I think this is basically just a bunch of over-levered people getting wrecked. And where the company Tesla goes, this has no bearing on it. But yeah, it's still a meme stock. Always has been. Do you think the Solana alternative narrative will play out? Sui, Sonic, etc.? I think so. I generally think you're gonna get new Solana competitors, and they're gonna have their cycles, and then we'll see how it goes. Basically, the same relationship that ETH had with Bitcoin. You will get with ETH and Solana, and then with Solana and Sui, and then you go down the list. Basically, I think people that think just because some coin went up in a cycle that it is the coin to stick around, are a little bit foolish. This is not how the game is played. And this is how it always works. Like, people were like, AVAX is the future. People were like, ADA is the future, like in 2017. You had a bunch of coins like this, and it never works out that way. They stick around for one cycle. Sometimes they outperform for two, and then usually they stop, and then a new coin gets the spotlight. And I think we are due for that. But also the market's kind of been so shit that there's not really been a reason to switch. But the moment you start seeing like a chain go 10x and the coins on the chain go another 10x, I think you will see a lot of migration. And I think that if the market turns a little bit nicer, a little bit, it goes a little bit to the upside, you could start seeing that kind of things. What the fuck, so my Neo isn't coming back? Yeah, pretty much exactly. Like, Neo did really, really well. Was one of my favorite plays in 2017. It's where like I made like some of the largest percentage gains, and I had like most of my money in it. And was one of the best performers in 2017, considering the risk also that you took, and then it just underperformed since. People were like, this is the future. Turned out it wasn't. It's the same with all of these. Besides with Bitcoin, I think if crypto is going to stick around, you're going to be fine holding Bitcoin. If it doesn't, I mean, you're obviously fucked. But I would not be saying this for anything else. I think in 20 years, there's a good chance you have Bitcoin and no other coins from this current time left. And like, at least not relevant. So yeah, I think that's about enough for today. I'm gonna keep it short just because I really want to sleep. I barely slept the last 3 nights, but I thought I'd give an update anyway because the market's been nice. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Nothing's really moved too much yet. Fingers crossed we start seeing some confidence come back into the market. I think a good monthly close would be a good start. So we'll see how all of that goes. But yeah, appreciate you guys coming by. Big shout out to Woo for sponsoring the show. Appreciate their support. Their links are in the description. And yeah, we'll see each other maybe next week. I'll just see how everything works out. I don't know if I can make it every week. I don't know if I can convince Cred to do the Friday show anytime soon, but I'll try my best. It's the most fun one just because it's nice bouncing ideas back and forth. But yeah, thanks for coming by. Thanks for all the nice comments. Much love. See you guys next time.